Hi, I'm Laura Brinton, and
I'm Shawn Brinton.
we're teachers in the high school. We also have a child with vision dysfunction who currently comes here for vision therapy. And we have seen so much progress with our child, and we, being teachers, we see a lot of struggling students in the classroom as well, and we would like to try to help them to get the same therapy that our son gets in order to be successful in school and in life. Some of the things we see in the classroom, sometimes you might not be able to see that easily a struggling student. You might classify them as lazy or have their head down, maybe they're tired, but these are all signs that a student may have a vision problem. Other things that I look for is kids who have trouble copying from the smartboard to notes, kids who struggle to do their homework, and kids who just have trouble making those connections from just getting a single answer to analyzing that answer to come up with a solution. My husband, who's a science teacher, also sees a lot of struggling students in his classroom, and he'll talk about what he sees.
And we notice a lot of students have difficulty making connections with information, pulling information from various sources, especially visual information. And there was a principal that I had several years ago, and she used to always ask us when we discuss our struggling students, are they a can't or a won't? And that was always a difficult question to answer. And we'd always kind of look at the kid face value, and we'd see, okay, are they trying to do their work? But it's as we've really learned about vision, it's not an easy answer. And a kid who looks like a won't, he actually may be a can't, and that can't process information in his brain. Even though he might be able to see the information, even read the text, he may not be able to put the pieces together and come up with that big idea that you're going for. And so I wish I would have known about vision 10 years ago, because I could say to my principal, he's or she is a can't, and this might be the reason why. And we have to understand that kids are taking in so much visual information throughout the day, and we're asking to do a lot more with that vision, in that information, and it doesn't become obvious what's going on, but in their brain they may not be able to put all those pieces together, and that's where we're seeing this difficulty and even this disconnect. And we may even see those can'ts turn into won'ts, or look like they're won'ts.
But they're really can'ts.
They're really can'ts.
They're really can'ts.
And it's hard to understand that, but someone who is having difficulty and can't do this, eventually they give up. And they say, I won't do it, because and what they're really saying is, I can't do this.
And that was with our own son before he started getting vision therapy, as the teachers told us he's a won't, he just won't do this. And it wasn't that he wouldn't do it, he couldn't do it. He actually couldn't see the edge of a paper, and he couldn't read because the words and the letters floated all over around the paper. And we had teachers and doctors telling us that our son had ADD and ADHD and wanted to medicate him. And he doesn't have ADD or ADHD, he had convergent insufficiency. And those model many of those ADHD symptoms. And his current pediatrician, who's an ADHD specialist, I think he put it in the best words, is ADHD is just too simple. There's a more complex problem going on, and we need to investigate that further. And so we did, and he is doing great. He doesn't show much signs of inattention anymore. None of his teachers feel that he has ADD or ADHD, and they're able to help him because we've identified his core problem, and we're able to work on it. And the best part about it is through therapy, he's getting better. And where drugs are just going to mask those symptoms, but we're actually working on helping him to be productive in this world and to reach his true potential. And I think that's what's really important is all kids should reach their true potential, but they're not because they have undetected vision problems. And who's going to find them the best? Teachers and doctors and therapists and guidance counselors and parents. And we need to educate all of the community together because that's the only way we're going to help all of these children reach their potential. And it's hard being a high school teacher knowing that these kids have gone so many years struggling and nobody's caught on to it until they get to high school. And it's very difficult, not impossible, but difficult to change and challenge them with the rigorous curriculum that they're faced with.
They're difficult to keep up with.
To keep up.
And if we look at how much of our learning is visual, and it's probably upwards of 90%
in the high
visual
school
information that they're taking in. And if they cannot process that information, there's no way they can keep up with the workload that we expect from them. So to be able to do this and train your brain to really take in information and process this is really the next step to helping them. And I look at these learning disabilities as a learning disability is anything that is preventing you from reaching your potential. And these are like brick walls or roadblocks that prevent those kids from getting over to the other side. So if a kid can't move on, it's probably the way they're processing that information in the brain. And
you gotta break down that brick wall.
You gotta break down these walls, or you gotta
get
them through it, and
get them to that end product.
But that's what vision is about. Is breaking down the brick wall or building that bridge over to the other side so that they can cross over and they can process this information. And I hope this helps and people understand vision a little bit more.
And I think it's important to understand that vision isn't just 20/20 sight. There's so many more components. And my son's teacher doesn't understand why he can't transfer data from the smartboard to his paper, and it's because he has problems with depth perception and spatial reasoning, and he can't do it right now until his vision gets corrected, and he tries. And it looks like signs of ADD, but it's not. It's actually that he can't do it, because if you put those same notes right next to him, next to his paper, he can copy them perfectly. And he wants to do well, and he loves school, and we want to make sure he always has that love for school. And I think just getting his brain balanced is really that ultimate goal, and we believe vision therapy is how he's going to get there.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.